Simon. At some point, I couldn't stand it and took her aside. Either quit distracting them or go away. Leave Simon alone. He has a girlfriend. Miranda pouted petulantly. I'll do whatever I want. It was time for a timed swim. My anger fueled me, and I finished first. Well done, David. You set a new record. Everyone immediately forgot about Miranda and switched to praising me. That really pissed her off. The next morning, I called Simon. He was about to celebrate his birthday and asked me to come early and help him with the organization. Are you going to a party? I'm coming with you. No, you're not. You weren't invited. As luck would have it, Mom was passing by us at that moment. Is it really hard for you to take your sister with you? Right? I have no friends here after all. No wonder with the way she acted. Why should I entertain you? Dad suddenly looked out of his office. He looked tired and was holding a stack of papers in his hands. David, Miranda's coming with you. End of discussion. Go out and have some fun. I had to give in. Before leaving, I took the quadcopter I was going to give Simon for his birthday. He had been dreaming about it for a long time. Oh, a quadcopter. Let me see. Miranda was turning it over when she dropped it. I wanted to kill her. When I tried to start the quadcopter, it didn't work. You broke it! It was an accident, honestly. Do you want me to take it to the repair shop? I should have done it myself, but I was running out of time. So I agreed and headed to the port. Simon's party was going to take place on a yacht. We prepared the drinks and snacks together. His girlfriend was taking care of the decorations. Rose, it all looks amazing. Thanks. Soon, the guests arrived and Simon started opening the presents. Where was Miranda? I was just thinking about her when she came up to the yacht. The master said he would only fix the quadcopter tomorrow. Oh, Simon, hello! Congratulations! This is from me. She handed him a gift. Simon opened the box and found an expensive watch inside. He was absolutely delighted. Miranda hugged him and kissed him on the cheek. I noticed that Rose didn't like that much. We hung out on the shore for a while and then went out to sea. Miranda wouldn't stop flirting with Simon. Put some sunscreen on my shoulders. Hey Simon, I think my swimsuit came untied. I've brought you a refreshing cocktail. Eventually, a disgruntled Rose came up to me. Could you tell your sister to get away from my boyfriend? I pulled Miranda aside and scolded her, but she ignored all my words. She kept hitting on my friend, so I decided to talk to Simon. Why don't you spend more time with your girlfriend? Come on, Miranda's cool. Rose can only blame herself. She's sulking and sitting alone instead of having fun. The situation was infuriating, and I went out on the deck to get some air. Another yacht suddenly sailed past us. It looked gorgeous and seemed to be private. I was admiring it when I suddenly noticed a little girl. She climbed over the side of the boat and fell into the water. None of the adults noticed it. I quickly jumped after her. I found her underwater and swam to the surface. Her parents noticed us, and I handed the child over to them. My friends had also seen me jump. When I came back, everyone clapped me on the shoulder and praised me for my bravery. Simon finally started paying attention to people other than Miranda. We sat down at a table and talked about swimming. My sister folded her arms across her chest and glared at me with an annoyed look. I thought she would chill out after the party, but I was in for a disappointment. The next day, I went to practice again. There was a cafe near the pool. We often hung out there. I was about to go in for a protein shake when I saw Miranda. She was sitting at a table with Simon and chatting with him sweet. She even covered his hand with hers. I was shocked. Miranda had never been a good girl, but Simon, he had Rose. I cornered him during practice. Mind explaining why you've been flirting with my sister? We're just friends. What's the big deal? Talking to him was useless. A little later, I tried reasoning with Miranda. Stop ruining everything! Just admit it, you broke the quadcopter on purpose, and now you're trying to break them up out of spite. Miranda smiled maliciously. Yes, I did it on purpose. I'm just bored. Your friend immediately fell for me, and watching Rose lose it is fun. Honestly, if she were a guy, I would have punched her. Why did you even come here if you're so bored? Miranda suddenly frowned. I was planning to go to Switzerland, but Mom and Dad didn't pay for the trip. They even blocked some of my cards. That was weird. Our parents had never made her spare money before. Just in case, I also checked my cards, and almost none of them were working. When Mom and Dad came home, I asked them what was going on. They exchanged a quick glance. Oh, it's nothing, just some business problems. You're hiding something. Don't worry about it. You should spend more time with your sister instead. Not that again. They were acting suspicious. The next day, something odd happened. Journalists were scouting in front of our house. They kept trying to take pictures of us. Miranda was all too happy to pose, but I tried to stay hidden. One day, I saw an article about our family in the papers. It was mostly about Mom and Dad being an exemplary couple. What a twist. They had been on the verge of divorce not that long ago. I was reading the article in the living room when Rose suddenly called and asked me to meet her. We decided to take a walk in the park. I know Simon is still in touch with Miranda. Do you think there's something going on between them? Rose looked so miserable that I couldn't bear to upset her even more. No, they're just friends. We took a little walk, and then I offered to walk her home. She lived nearby. When we were passing by my house, we saw Miranda and Simon. They were hugging, and then suddenly kissed. You traitor! How could you? She burst into tears and ran away. Simon stayed where he was. Miranda was grinning, pleased with herself, and I lost my temper. Are you dumb? How can you choose this psycho over such a cool girlfriend? Simon hesitated for a bit, but eventually rushed after Rose. Miranda gritted her teeth in anger. She gave me a furious look and went inside the house. The next day, Mom called me during practice. We got dinner invitations. Come home right now. I had to ask the coach for permission, and just as I was about to leave, Simon came up to me. Rose and I broke up. You're nuts. Did you leave her for Miranda? Actually, she dumped me after what happened yesterday. Well, do something about it. Why? I'm tired of her antics. Miranda's fun. Besides, she's much more beautiful than Rose. Miranda is using you. You're just a fool. I was late because of our conversation. I had to call a taxi, but we got stuck in traffic on the way. When I finally arrived home, my parents had already left. However, Miranda was standing in the hallway. She was wearing simple clothes and holding a beach bag. Aren't you coming with us? I am. It's a pool party. I relaxed. I hated pretentious events, but loved swimming. We arrived at a cool cottage. There was no one in the yard, but voices and relaxing music were coming from the house. I'm gonna change. I didn't want to talk to anyone, so I decided to stay outside. I took off my t-shirt and dived into the pool. I swam for a while and then grabbed a rubber ring. Time passed, but no one came out into the yard. I decided to look inside the house and got out of the pool. That was when Miranda appeared on the porch. Mom, Dad, and other guests were behind her. This is just embarrassing. My brother is always in the damn pool. Miranda had changed into a dress, and the other guests were also wearing evening clothes. Meanwhile, I was in shorts and holding the rubber ring like an idiot. Everyone stared at me in shock, especially my parents. Miranda was so nasty. She had lied to me so that I would embarrass myself. It's hot and there's a cool pool right here. Don't you want to join me? Nobody laughed. Miranda started making fun of me again, and I couldn't stand it any longer. I'm so sick of you! All you do is ruin people's lives. Just admit that you're jealous. I have a lot of friends, unlike you, who could stand to be around you. David, that's quite enough! That was when I noticed journalists standing outside the gate and filming everything. My parents sat Miranda and me in the car and drove us home. Then they threw a real fit. We spent so much effort trying to look like a perfect family, but you've ruined everything. What's going on? We have serious business issues, and we're going broke. Mr. Crouch was our last chance. He's a millionaire that could have become our partner. We were at his house today, but he is very principled. He only works with those who have an impeccable reputation and honor family values. That's why we were trying so hard to act as a perfect family. We even hired the journalists and commissioned that article. I was stunned. I had suspected they had serious problems, but I hadn't thought it was so serious. The worst part was that my parents blamed me and not Miranda, even though it was all her fault. The next morning, the photos from the party hit the front page. Mom and Dad were horrified. Miranda gloated. Finally, you were not the perfect son, but a disgrace to the family. No one talked at breakfast. I was picking at my omelet when the doorbell suddenly rang. We'd had to fire a housekeeper, so my mom went to open it. Mr. Crouch? A couple of seconds later, she came back to the living room, accompanied by a man. Dad immediately jumped up from his seat. We're so sorry for what happened yesterday. I looked at the guest and felt like I had seen him before. Why did he look so familiar? Mr. Crouch motioned for Dad to be quiet. I saw David at last night's party and read today's articles too. That wasn't our first meeting. A couple of weeks ago, your son saved my daughter's life. She fell overboard while we were sailing. That was when I remembered him. He was that girl's father. Mr. Crouch came up to me and shook my hand. I was so scared back then that I didn't even thank you. But now, I am ready to support your family business. You have a wonderful son. Mom and Dad were shocked. They discussed all the details with Mr. Crouch, and he left. You aren't a hero. Yes, he is. He saved not only that girl, but also our business. You should try to be more like your brother. All you do is spend money. Miranda turned green with anger. In the evening, my friends invited me to the beach. I was in a great mood and agreed. However, I was in for an unpleasant surprise. Simon and my sister were there, but Rose hadn't come. David, I'm still thinking about your record. You are our best swimmer. You will definitely win the competition. He's just an upstart. I'm just as good at swimming. Miranda suddenly got up from the sunbed and headed toward the water. At first, I didn't understand what she was doing, but then it dawned on me. Miranda had already swum quite far out by the time Simon and I rushed after her. What an idiot. The waves were very strong that day. She really wasn't a good swimmer. I was swimming with all my might, but couldn't catch up to her. Simon was left far behind. I watched my sister closely. She was covered by a wave and disappeared under the water. Damn it! Of course, Miranda was annoying as hell, but I didn't want her to drown. I dived after her. I couldn't see anything. I was just